One, Jerry Jacobs had to go. When you're left off the roster during your playoff run, the team's first playoff run in many, many years, especially after winning the division, the writing is kind of on the wall at that point. However, I will shout out that Jerry Jacobs, between weeks 4 and 8 of this season, had a three-game stretch of having PFF grades over 70 and 3 interceptions in that 4-game stretch. And the Lions were 4-0 in those games. In the previous season, he only yielded a 74.9 passer rating when targeted. I'm not saying that Jerry Jacobs didn't have times where he wasn't burnt toast, because he most certainly was. But he played more good football for the Detroit Lions than I think he's getting credit for retrospectively. So I'll always be grateful for Jerry Jacobs' contributions, even if his time in Detroit had just run its course. It just happens. When you're a good team, sometimes some of those type of players are ones that don't get to come with you when you win at the highest level.
Mm-hmm. It probably is more like what Sam said there in the end, akin to where the Detroit Lions are headed right now. We've seen them be in positions before where players like Jerry Jacobs, they stick even around a little bit longer than they probably should, but it's really because of where the Lions were in their expectations. Now that they're moving into Super Bowl expectations, you're going to start to see the level of player and the types of moves that they make, whether they like them or not, start to change. But one of the lasting things that I will say about Jerry Jacobs that kind of sticks out in my mind is how active he was in the city, getting around to the high school football games in Detroit, supporting some of these high schoolers and such. And it was a cool thing to see him really get acclimated to the city. And that's one of the things that he talked about in his farewell message as well.
Yeah, and we'll ask John at 8:30. I didn't get much one-on-one time with him in the locker room, but everyone who did says he was honest, he was kind, he was willing to speak to the media openly and honestly. So for that, I say thank you. Sam, you said it perfectly. I think he did more for this team than he gets credit for. So this is one of those things we got to deal with. We're going to see good coaches leaving the organization. We're going to see very good players get cut, and whether it's this year or in further years, that's just something as fans we got to live with.
Something tells me overall with these Detroit Lions, with any of the moves that they make, whether it's a player that we don't expect or a player that we do expect getting cut or a coach or this and the other, that everything in the end will work out.